Welcome to Global Basketball TV here for Global Basketball Summer League. Session 1 wrapped up today with the finals. I am joined here with Catrell Martin to my far left, Egidio Deliu. This is Ricky, Cleveland George, and I am Meghan McPeak, bringing you the wrap-up for Session 1. I'm going to go to you, Ricky, first. You've been here all 3 days. You've been coaching, you've been scouting, you've been watching everything. What really stood out to you from the finals today from all 4 games?
Basically, the most part, a lot of guys really caught their rhythm today. You know, the first day when you're playing with guys you never played with before, it's kind of like a feel. The coaches are trying to feel you out, find what your strongest points are, and also trying to find out what your weakest points are so they continue to put you at the best forefront as much as possible instead of making you looking like, hey, what is this guy doing? So today was really a good rhythm for a lot of players today because we saw things that we didn't see within the first 2 days from players, even including on my team. I saw things from players that I wasn't able to see the first 2 days because, again, they was getting acclimated with trying to run an offense that they never done before. You know, how I want them to set up on the defensive scheme. Even though my guys came out pretty much from all 3 days, really was very solid on defense, so it really wasn't that much critiquing I had to do, but for the most part, making sure they was comfortable within the whole system so they can show what they can do, they show their talents.
In Game 1, we saw Pointstreak take on Las Vegas Casino. And Egidio, you were here for that game. In that game, it was a real blowout from start to finish. Las Vegas just couldn't find their footing. They couldn't get it going. What did you see from Pointstreak? They had an all-around game team-wise.
Pointstreak came out hot from the beginning and didn't stop throughout the whole entire game. What surprised me really though, how Las Vegas, they started off so hot in Game 1, they led for 3 quarters in that first game and actually got to call the first 2 Las Vegas games, and then they lost I believe Windsor. They were playing Windsor. Windsor came back late in the 4th quarter, took them to overtime, and then beat them in overtime. So Las Vegas, I think since that happened to them, it got in their heads mentally and they couldn't bounce back from it, and it showed here today. They lost 3 and finished in 8th place. That was real shocking to me because they did have the talent on that roster to move forward and make some noise in this tournament.
Now, Catrell, I'll go to you. For Las Vegas, 2 players had double-digit scoring. They've been known and they've been talked about a lot this weekend. First, I'll go with Hakim Champagne. He was very quiet in that first game today. Didn't really come out the way we thought he was going to. First 2 games, he rebounded the ball outstandingly. 23 rebounds between the 2 games. Today, only 13 points. What do you think was the fall-off for him?
I'm not sure exactly. I couldn't say he was tired. Maybe it was trying to get more acclimated to the offense, and because you got to take it apart. All these guys are coming from different cities and states and leagues, and to just have 1 hour of practice, and then you go into practice gym an hour before the game. Every game, you're coming in and playing with different players. I don't think it's a set number that the guy wants to come in and play with, but Champagne has been playing great overall. You know, it's double figures in most of the games he's played in. So, I mean, it's not disappointing at all, just something maybe we didn't expect today.
And the other player from, again, Las Vegas, I'll stick it with you, Tristan Russell, had a great game today. Las Vegas just couldn't get their footing. It was almost like they had 2 great first games, came up short, unfortunately, playing for that 7th and 8th place. And Tristan Russell was really what got them and kept them in the game. What do you think he's going to look for to work on his game to get to the next level and play at the pro level?
Well, if you ask me, I think it started here. Dictated that offense. He kept the speed of the game up-tempo. He made the right decisions at the right time, kicked it out to the right players. It's all about knowing your personnel, and that's exactly what he did. He picked his spots to choose to score at the right time, and he did it all at an efficient rate. So Russell is a great player in my eyes, one of the guys to stand out throughout the whole tournament, and he's got a couple areas to improve, but for the most part, he's got the main points pinned down on the sheet.
And we'll go to the Game 2 of the day, the championship game, Nevada Desert Storm coming out quiet, and then they are going up against Scouting for You, probably one of the best games we've seen all weekend in the first 3 days here for Session 1. Coach, I'm going to bring it to you for that game. Nevada Desert Storm came together a day before everybody else. They got that 1 extra day of practicing. Do you think that helped them in their 3 games and coming away with the championship?
Oh, yes, tremendously. Any advantage that you have over another team, I mean, it helps big time. I mean, you're able to get a couple hours more in than what other people are able to do. So, again, they're able to gel more chemistry-wise. As we saw, we saw a lot of passing cuts with them. It was like guys was just already 2 steps ahead and already just at their point of attack where, again, it just made it easy for them. The biggest thing was they hit a lot of open jump shots that other teams didn't hit the whole tournament. So it really speaks to volume of what they was doing with their team and how they was working on their craft.
37 points on 17 of 18 from the free throw line. Jamal Smith, outstanding game for Nevada Desert Storm. What do you think it was for him from the free throw line? Because I know you talked about it in day 1 and day 2, that a frustration for a lot of the coaches was the foul shooting was not where you expected to be with guys expecting to play at the pro level. A guy goes to the line 18 times, knocks down 17. If you're a coach and a scout, does that tell you that he can get to the line not only, but he's also going to knock them down in the crunch?
Tell you he can get buckets, Megan. Tell you he can get buckets.
I mean, most definitely. I mean, the biggest things is people don't understand. I know, I'm going to bring up the year Memphis lost in the championship to KU. People don't understand.
Oh, man, don't bring that up.
Was number 1 for how many months, weeks, and they get to the biggest championship game. They have the game wrapped up. But what people don't understand is out of 300 and some schools total in Division I, as a team, they was last. So, again, when you see guys that's able to knock down free throws, consistency, that plays a big part in scouting because you want to know, and especially in a national game, free throws definitely play a big part of games. So, again, if you know a guy can knock down free throws, that gives him head and shoulders above other guys who can't, regardless of what skill set they have, because the most important things are defense and knocking down shots and counting your free throws because they're free for a reason.
Now, looking at the other side of that championship game, scouting for you, Lester Prosper, a name we've been talking about all weekend. Game 1, great game. Game 2, backed it up. Then Game 3, he's got to go against a tough Nevada Desert Storm squad, and they had his number. He still finished with 25 points, 8 rebounds. Catrell and Egidio, I'm going to throw it to both of you. What do you think he's going to be able to do at the pro level? He's a different type of big man where he's similar to a Kevin Durant, where he's athletic, he's quick, he can get up and down the floor, but he can really power it down inside, and a lot of people don't realize how strong he is.
I've seen a lot of basketball in my days, and it only took me about 4.5 minutes to realize how good this guy was. He knocks down the mid-range jumper. He has that soft touch to bounce it in if it hits the front rim. But his footwork is what amazes me. At that size and at that height, you just figure out. I mean, there's a lot of guys we see. Ricky Cleveland, man. Yeah. A lot of big guys don't have that footwork down low in the post, and they have to work on it, and it's really hard to learn. But for him to have that, it's very, very, very good to his assets to have along with his game. But, I mean, you won't have to get used to saying his name, especially at this level, international level. The guy's going to the NBA. I feel like he's set, he's ready. He had a couple chances with the New Orleans Pelicans now, but I know with the New York Knicks, he played with their summer league back in 2013. I just talked to his agent earlier today. He's got 5 NBA teams coming to an event on Saturday and a handful of Division I international teams coming to the event as well. This guy has a lot of opportunity. So Lester Prosper, get to know his name. He's one to watch out for.
Now, Egidio, I know I said I was going to ask about Lester, but I'm going to flip it on you. Anthony Hickey on the losing squad, 10 of 20 shooting, 22 points. Great kid out of OSU. What did you like? Because you talked to him a lot this weekend, and you had the chance to call one of his games and report on it. What did you like from him in that loss?
Actually, something, again, what stood out right away, he's an athlete. This guy can play, definitely. It showed that he's a Division I athlete, and he's a Division I former collegiate basketball player at Oklahoma State. He's a former Cowboy, of course. And I think overall, the Division I guys in this tournament stood out. They separated themselves from everybody else, and it was clear as day. Another guy, Griffin from Vegas, he went to Eastern Washington. Big size, big, aggressive, could shoot inside and outside. So I like those guys, and Hickey, I think him and Lester, excuse me, what was his name? Lester Prosper. I gotta learn the name. Yeah. Those guys, I'll be really shocked if they leave here without offers, multiple offers, when this is all said and done.
Now going to Game 3, British Connection and Windsor Express. Catrell, I'm going to come back to you. BJ West, a big game, double-double, 17 points, 11 rebounds. What did you like from that guy? Because he's definitely another one, like Prosper, that's going to get a contract coming out of here.
Well, what I like about him, he picks his spots. You can tell 17 points, 11 rebounds. That tells you he didn't want to do too much on the offensive end, but he's also going to go in and get the dirty work done and get those rebounds. So, I mean, if it's two guys, two big men that you want to look at, BJ West and Lester Prosper are two guys that I would want to start a dream team with if we had to get one here at the Global Basketball Summer League.
And then, Egidio, I'm going to flip it to you for Windsor Express. What did you like from them? They had a tough start in Game 1, didn't look too strong. Game 2, they picked it back up. You saw the cohesiveness come together. And then Game 3, they just started finally gelling. You almost wish that they had that extra day to really get things going. What did you like from them and from Coach Scott?
Yeah, I think Coach Scott was the main reason why the Windsor Express won today and won with the games that they did win this tournament, because in that first game they were trailed for 3 quarters. Like I mentioned, at one point I believe they were down by 17, and they came back in overtime to win. And he kept his team calm and collective. I remember during one of the timeouts he just told his team, just play basketball, don't worry about the score, play basketball, do your assignment, and it paid off for them. They came back and won, I believe, by 2 or 3 points. So I think Windsor, if it was a full season and we had about 50 or 80 games, I think Windsor would definitely be a top in the playoffs and be a championship contender team.
Now I'm going to go to Game 4. Coach, you coached in this game. You came away with the win. Kosovo Euro playing Southern Stars. Coach, what did you like from your team? Because, again, slow start to the first session. You had to get the footing under you. You could tell that you were frustrated. I called that game, and, again, going back to the free throws, you guys finally picked it up in Game 2, shot a little bit better, and then today you were able to really get your footing. What did you like from your guys in the progression of the 3-day session?
Basically, I mean, guys got to stop selling. You know, a lot of guys, you know, they really want to try to show something that might not be going at the minute. You know, guys start getting to the basket, guys start doing back cuts, we got easy baskets. We even got second chance points, something that we didn't do for the first 2 days, by the fact. So, I mean, again, guys really started picking it up. They was gelling. We boxed out more, you know. But, again, it came down to it. We stood our ground on defense. And from day one with the loss on the first day, basically our defense is what kept us in it. We had a lead, a 15-point lead, if I'm not mistaken, during the game. We let it slip away. You know, Stars had the momentum. They could have carried this game away and took it. But, again, my guys settled down and they rallied back together and gelled back together and closed the game out.
Dana Kendrick, I've called games for him back in Canada. He played there last season. Double-double from the kid. He had an okay Game 1. Took a little bit to get his footing. Game 2 really came out for you late in the game, but again, couldn't get over that hump. You guys just couldn't figure it out. Today, though, 22 points, 10 rebounds. What did that mean for you in the win?
I mean, for Dana, you know, he had a slow start. You know, we had some things to talk about. Well, you know, the mental state, the whole mental state. You know, it was like the first 2 days, his mental state wasn't actually all the way there. But today, somehow it came, it was there, and we saw what he can actually do. You know, he had some very good, crucial points at the end, under 2 minutes for us. You know, he got 2 dunks. You know, he got a follow-up dunk. You know, he hit one on the baseline. So, I mean, Dana really kind of showed what type of player he's actually can be. So, you know, I hope he's coming back for the second session. I hope that continues on to roll with him because, again, he was the MVP of our camp last summer. So, again, if he can do what he did today, again, the sky's the limit for Dana. But Dana just has to keep his mental focus up.
Now, Coach talks about mental focus. Mental focus for the entire team. 5 players you had in double figures. Catrell, what do you think that means for Coach George to be able to know that he got a balanced scoring and it wasn't just the starters. He also got production from the bench?
He has to give a pat to his back and let the guys know. You know, you give it to him, help him out. Because to get guys to come together and play like that when they have not played together ever, it's definitely an accomplishment to get guys on the bench, especially acclimated, wanting to come in, and they're not sad about coming in and saying, man, I'm on the bench while they're out there, and why do I have to have extra minutes on the bench and everyone else there is playing? They actually come together and they're worried about, okay, let's get this win. Forget about who's getting the minutes. Forget about who's getting the points and the rebounds. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get the stuff that's not on the stat sheet. Let's go out there. Let's go get that, dive on the ground. Let's go help out and everyone play team ball. And that's the way that they're going to get their names known, especially with the coaches and scouts see it out here. So That's the main thing that I think that they did focus on, and that they did accomplish, and something that you should pat yourself on the back about. Good job.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
job.
I really appreciate it.
Coach, I'm going to come back to you talking about the Southern Stars. The big man in the middle, Philip Thomas, known as Tree Thomas, comes up with a double-double. 18 points, 14 rebounds, 10 of which came on the defensive end. What was it like for your big men to really contend against him? Not only the big men, because, again, you guys are one of the undersized teams. Your tallest guy is 6'6", but you've got the athleticism that allowed you to still crash the boards. When it came to the offensive side, not getting as many second chance opportunities for you guys, what was it like playing against a guy like him?
I mean, basically, I just told my guys, I said, hey, you know, with us being undersized, the biggest thing that we have to stop is fast break points. So we did an excellent job of that for the whole most part. You know, every now and then we had some slippage, but, you know, when somebody shoot the ball, we need two back automatically because we're a small team. We're not going to get that many offensive rebounds with having a guy our tallest only 6'6". You know, it's a slim chance that we're going to get that offensive rebound tilt back. So with that being said, you know, get two back. If anything, hey, that person that's in the middle that's not crashing the board, stay there. You never know, you might get a loose rebound, in which in some cases we did today. So again, it was basically keeping our floor balanced to stop the fast break from happening. So a guy like that, hey, if he gets the rebound, cool. But at the same token, we have to play solid defense on the other end. So no matter how many rebounds he got them. But the most important thing is we came up with the W.
As we get set for session 2, Coach, looking forward to the new group of guys, a couple guys that are returning from the first session. What are you looking for in hopes of trying to get the guys their footing under them a little bit earlier? They've had, some of them came yesterday. A lot of them arrived today and they had their practices. Do you think having the practices earlier in the day, being able to have the gym available if they needed to, some of the guys stayed behind, waited until the other practice started between that time. Do you think that it's going to be easier with the second session for the guys to get their foot under them and really get the cohesion going?
Honestly, I mean, it just depends on, the biggest thing is your IQ for the game. You know, if your IQ, that's one thing I stress about this whole camp to any player, not just guys that played on my team that I might be scouting for next season, or any other coach that's in here scouting for that players for next season. The biggest thing is we already know 9 out of 10 you're athletic, you're fast, you're young, you're supposed to be. But the whole key is, what is your mental IQ? What do you know about the game? What can you bring knowing the game? What adjustments can you make without a coach having to always tell you? So the biggest thing is, the first half of each game is always going to be, okay, I need to sit back and watch, say a little something, but don't over-say, because, again, the guys will start going, hey, I don't know what to do. You know, so the whole biggest thing is I teach, don't come out here 100 miles per hour. Whatever you do, you come out here 100 miles per hour, it's not going to get nobody a chance to gel and catch that chemistry. So as much as possible, try to stay at a pace where everybody's picking up what the next man is going to do.
Catrell, I'm going to go to you. Your last thought on the first session. What did you like? What didn't you like?
There was a couple players that stood out to me. As I mentioned, Lester Prosper is one guy. As soon as I seen him, I knew exactly that this guy would be on the next level, be on the professional level. I like that the guys came in. It's going to be in the second session as well. But I like that the guys came in, never playing together, and actually gelled, and their games all came together. You could actually go through that sheet and break down if that team is a slow-paced team, a fast-paced team, if they're going to make the extra pass, if their defense is good, if their three-point shots are good, their field goal selection's good. You could definitely tell now that if they did have a season, as you mentioned earlier, that some of these teams will be broken down to the right aspect, and we will be able to tell exactly what they would do next.
Egidio, your thoughts?
I really like the talent that was out here. Overall, everybody had pretty even matched teams, and it showed all the games were exciting to watch. And I think all but one came down to the last few minutes and was won by more than just a few points. And I think that's exciting for the fans, for the players involved, the coaches, us, of course, calling it, and the media, and for the fans watching them online on YouTube. which you can check out on Global Basketball on YouTube channel. A little plug in there. And like us on social media. But I really liked all the talent that came here from all over the country. And like Catrell said, how quickly they gelled together and put great performances out there for the scouts and hopefully to help themselves get a job at the next level.
Once again, Session 1 has wrapped up here. The ultimate champion, Nevada Desert Storm coach Ty McIntyre. He's Catrell Martin. This is Egidio Deliu. Coach Ricky Cleveland George. I am Meg McPeak. Thank you for watching Global Basketball TV, Global Basketball Summer League.